Yo, welcome back. Secret House Against Tokyo-based hip-hop art and culture conversations about underground, independent, abstract, avant-garde, experimental hip-hop musics. Today you recognize all of us. It's me, Dez, Jet, all here combined to discuss the new Previous Industries, or the debut Previous Industries album.
Indeed.
Service Merchandise, 11 songs, 35 minutes. It came out at the end of last month, so it's been about a month. We've had some time to sit with this one. I think most of our listeners will know Open Mike Eagle. This is a collaborative project between him and his longtime homies and friends, Video Dave and Riff Napalm, or Still Riff, excuse me. I'm an old
Mr.
guy.
Napalm.
Also with a lot of child actor production on this one.
That's right. Yep.
Features, a couple features and things. Track 3 and 9 produced by the great Quelle Chris, perhaps the GOAT. Smoke Bonito on produce number 6. But so we've got a lovely combination of incredible artistry here. What we like to do on Secret House Against is to tell the listeners how we're familiar with the artist before we start discussing the album directly. We've done a few.
We've done a Video Dave. We've done 2 Open Mike Eagles.
Mhm.
And where's the solo album Rift?
Yeah.
Mr. Napalm, sir, please.
Who would you like to hear Riff do an album with, producer? If he had one to do it with.
August Vernon.
That was exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say him and August would be dope. Also, fucking Controller 7.
Yeah.
After the production on the Shrapnel. Obviously Controller 7 is back at being one of the illest available for fucking heartbeats.
Child actor.
Yeah, child actor. I actually would not want to hear Rift over more child actor.
I mean, I'll take it though.
I love child actor, but child actor also has a very specific kind of palette.
Shit, let me do it. Let me do it. I'm not as good as any of these people, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it for free.
I'll do it for free, chicken. How are you familiar with any of these artists, Des?
So Open Mike, known from Outside, and then Video Dave with you guys on the review like way back.
Okay.
That was the Video Dave Controller 7 album.
You were there with us for that one?
That was all 3 of us.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Okay, this is perfect then.
So that's how I got put onto like Video Dave and stuff.
Okay.
And I'm not super familiar with the other
Rift
MC.
Napalm, Still
Napalm,
Rift.
yeah, Still Rift.
Still
yeah.
Rift.
So
Okay.
Yeah. My first
Yeah, I
time.
mean,
He's dope though.
I feel like I'm one of the few very vocal champions of Rift. He's been one of my favorites since I heard him back on Lifelike Movie with Mestizo 20 years ago. Galapagos 4 shit. I've always championed his work. I've always loved all his features. He was on some of the earliest Open Mike Eagle work that I heard, like Roadside Attraction. I think he's on that. And also, they all go back quite long as friends, Chicagoans. And yeah, just a huge fan of Still Riff. Unbelievably like magical fucking MC status, just like him and Breeze Bruin and Cavalier. They're some of my favorite unknowns who have been dope for decades at this point. So yeah, for this album, I guess we might as well go ahead and get busy with talking about the album.
Yeah. I know all 3 of these artists specifically through Open Mike Eagle.
I do actually have a snippet.
A snippet, you say?
A snippet of their Bandcamp description.
A whippet of a snippet, yes, please.
Yeah. It says Previous Industries is 3 Chicagoans with deep shared history. Open Mike Eagle, Video Dave, and Still Riff. Service Merchandise, their debut LP as a unit, is named after a largely defunct retail chain, as are many of the songs on the album. Orbiting the Dead Mall is a spiritual concept. Previous Industries tackle nostalgia, heartbreak, joy, and disposability from three distinct points of view, weaving in and out of beats by child actor Quelle Chris, Smoke Bonito to create something new from a discarded past. The record was mixed by Kenny Siegel and mastered by the great Grammy-winning engineer Daddy Kev. He was just out here a few months ago. Yeah, no, longer than that now, like last year. But I know both of you cats are not American, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with some of the names of these places, like KB Toy Stores.
No. I didn't know that was that. What that was. I have a friend named KB. Shouts out to her. She's dope.
Okay. Also, I think I'm relatively around the same age as all of these cats, maybe on and off by like 2 or 3 years. Right, I'm 41, and KB toy stores was a thing, but I think they're from Chicago, they're from the Midwest. I grew up in Cali. We definitely had Montgomery Ward, Sears and Roebucks, but we did not have like Dominic's or some of these other things, and we definitely didn't have
all these titles are just
right.
Okay,
even
I
service
see.
merchandise is like a Sears. It's like apparently it's like a. What was wild is like after the album was released, I saw somebody sharing like old school photos, and it was like the outside of a service merchandise building, and I was like, okay, that really is not just the title of the album; it is also a kind of location and part of the general kind of artistic expression of the album.
And I think it's a really good joining point between these MCs. Like, when you look at so when you look at like Open Mike Eagle, Anime Trauma, Divorce, Auto Reverse, Component System, you have that kind of nostalgic element, but then also this kind of grief or nostalgia that kind of comes through for times past. The Video Dave Controller 7 Articulated Textiles was also like kind of wistful and nostalgic, and there was this kind of yearning, but also kind of a
like a idyllic
past kind of thing going on. Riff Napalm is someone who has been present in the underground for a very long time, but hasn't really stepped into the light, as it were. We're still kind of like waiting for like, when's the album? The name change and everything like that. And Quelle Chris on production on a track on here as well. Death Fame has that kind of posthumous kind of vibe. I feel like The Dead Mall is like a kind of interesting joint, like an interesting nexus between all of these artists that are present on here. Even Child Actor, the kind of broader, well, who exactly is Child Actor? Child Actor the band, Child Actor the person, Child Actor the people.
Yeah.
People have come and gone in that period. I
find the album actually pretty fascinating for that reason, and I do have a bit of my like for some of the reasons you said about like the connection to consumerism and being a product and fetishizing products, but along with one of the reasons this album strikes me is in my own personal headcanon is that what it reminds me of. It reminds me of being part of the same universe as a Jai too, because like a Jai,
that consumerism.
But the bigger kind of meshing component is Child Actor.
Yes.
Child Actor handled all of the production on the last Jai album, and the last Jai album is really about like this kind of strange experience of this hype beast consumer who has been completely subsumed by hype beast culture and how it's ruining his life. And it's a great look into this kind of dystopian element of capitalism and experiencing that. And I think that Serengeti is absolutely brilliant at getting that across, and to me it's one of the deeper things of the album that doesn't seem to be discussed as much when people talk about the album. They just kind of see it as another like part of the grand narrative of Serengeti's character building and world building, but that's a huge part of it to me. And now this album, it does kind of feel like it exists within that same kind of perception of consumerism, the relationship with it, and the kind of this existential dire feeling, while also like proliferating kind of the ethics of that dark lens that comes with it. Like people are situating themselves existentially with these products in these places, and now there's this, it's like a bit existentially sad at times, even though the album is mostly just like rappity rap, like dope rapping, right? Yeah. But it also is like about coming to grips with being a neoliberal subject and the alienation that comes with that kind of ontology of nostalgia, that hauntology, this kind of frenetic grasping at passing objects that satisfy but doesn't really satisfy anything in terms of desire. It's all just kind of fleeting. The futility of merchandise and describing, and they all kind of describe themselves and their actions and their things as these things. So it's like the hunt for merchandise and becoming the merchandise. And you know, a lot of it, again, this is just my own personal headcanon of reading into the lyrics, because there are those kind of elements that you can put a part of it, right? I'm not sure if the intention's
really
there, but
good pull,
it's something
because,
about it.
I mean, we know for a fact that Video Dave is a Serengeti Ajay nerd.
He gets a shout out on the album.
Gets a shout out
too.
on the album, and then also on our review of Ajay 2, while you were explaining the Ajay lore to me, you made a couple mistakes in there. Who was in the comments making the corrections? It's Video Dave.
Okay.
He came in, he provided some additional context and a little bit more on the Ajay shared universe. So I absolutely can well believe that this is something that was a source of inspiration on the creation of this record.
So what do you think? Did you get any of those?
What are
kind
you,
of
Deza?
like,
What are you?
Break it down for me, brother. How do you feel, brother? I just do so much talking, and I'm so used to just being able to bomb for 4 minutes and then jet bombs it. With 3, I'm still getting used to giving people space.
I'm also
to
getting
breathe.
used to it, trying to figure out when to jump in and stuff. Sorry, can you repeat your question?
I didn't really have a question. It's
Who
mostly
are
just like,
you? What is your purpose in life?
connect yourself to a few like defunct businesses. No, I'm just
Enter a
kidding.
fugue
Yeah.
state right now.
Right, cholo fugue state.
The idea of a dead mall as the concept for the album is, I think it's brilliant, and you know, I think it's kind of almost what's the word? Not reminiscing, but you know,
Nostalgic.
no, it's not nostalgic either. It's like there's a word like to accept, you know.
You gotta speak.
You gotta talk it to the mic,
Sorry,
bro.
To accept, you know, like what's kind of done and gone, the ghosts of the past.
Yeah, I feel you.
Now I'm gonna want to find the word.
I mean, there's a hauntological element to it as well, right?
Sure.
It's not exactly hauntology in the way that some of the albums we've reviewed in the past kind of
It doesn't
take
try to
from-
recreate.
It doesn't try to recreate
Yeah.
the past.
anything like that. And I don't think this album is meant to necessarily evoke the... I mean, I wouldn't know because I don't know what any of these things are in the track titles, but like, I don't think it's designed to evoke the sense of like, oh man, remember being in Babbage's when I was 12? Like, because I have no idea what a Babbage's is, so I could be wrong on that one. But I do think there is, you know, that kind of ghost that kind of travels through the record.
Mourning the loss. That's what it was. Mourning the loss.
Okay. Well, you know, also beyond that, like I know a lot of that portion of it, like I'm not exactly sure how specific they're trying to get with the kind of parallels to the album title, because there are, throughout all of the songs, there is kind of different themes and different things that they're like. Verses are very much talking about specific aspects of their experience and who they are, but at the same time, it's also just like it's just a really good album of like a perfect cipher of homies seamlessly exchanging these interpersonal friendship vibes, one-upping each other, impressing each other, making each other laugh while staying on theme like the creative writers that they are.
And three MCs who have very kind of different styles and personalities, but also gel together really well.
Each one of them brings like styles and approaches and perspectives, and it all kind of just weaves together. And that's why like the song Braids is a perfect example of that. The in and out on Braids, you know, when you braid, it's three things, and
strands.
it's three MCs, you know, weaving together, 3 cats weaving bars, and it's just
braids.
It's just like really good for that. The opening song, which is kind of just like Showbiz, which is just them kind of bombing about who they are and using all of these kind of most of them are like pop cultural references in order to describe themselves, or they'll use a lot of throwbacks to a lot of other previous rap bars or sentences. I think Riff says something like building steam with a grain of salt. That's fucking DJ Shadow. There's all of these little things that they kind of pull from all of these pop cultural references, like largely hip hop and consumerist type of things to work together. Like even Video Dave is like, what does he say? I feel like I'm better than every David, excluding
So,
Trugoy and Letterman.
yeah.
And it's like,
yeah.
it's just really kind of, you can create your own headcanon and try to figure it out for whatever fun it is. And that's like one of the really dope things about these artists is that you can listen to it casually and be like, wow, that's a good rap. Those are good raps. Those are good things to say, well executed. But at the same time, there's also a depth that can be kind of pulled in. I know everything's trying to communicate, and you can do that with fucking the Barbie, anything, Transformers or whatever. But with me, I specifically have a good time hearing how good the raps are, hearing the way that they've created them, and also trying to figure out, like, are they getting at something different here that I'm missing?
Dave also says that on one of the songs, and I think it goes beyond just trying to understand the lyrics. He says, to understand what I said, put the dictionary down, pick up the catalog instead. So in order to understand the layers and intricacies of these songs, you need to go back and kind of get hip to their history and getting to their past, seeing their, I guess in a way, their ghosts, right?
Or pick up the Sears catalog.
Going
You know
through
what I mean?
like
Yeah.
that's
Or maybe
again
Fuck,
the dead more, right? You remember going through these old catalogs, especially as a
Yeah.
kid, looking through all these things. You'd be like, oh, I want to have, just looking at them. Oh, I want this. My parents couldn't afford it, but like, oh, I want this. Oh, looking at the Argos catalog if you're British, like Sears catalog, which I only know through a Simpsons reference.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that kind of highlight that nostalgia, and I think that the album is wide and varied enough to allow people to enjoy both of those parts. Like, one of the things that I was having the most enjoyable part of it is, like, first, the beats are all pretty good. There are child actor beats, a majority of them, so they all maintain a pretty kind of airy, kind of etheric type of vibe, which is something pretty typical of child actors' production approach.
Yes.
And somehow the other producers, Quelle and Benito, I'm sorry, I forget the name of the last producer, who I'm not intimately familiar with their work, Smoke Benito, all of them seem to really just kind of mesh together well. It sounds extremely cohesive for it being three people with all these different, like, I don't know. The songs are great. Pliers, Dave has, what I like is, from track to track, I'm like, okay, Dave kills on this one. Okay, Riff kills on this one. Oh my God, what did Open Mike Eagle just say on this one? Like, it's really dope. It's really fun. I've got lyrics.
Taking, like, keeping score on this record is real difficult. Yeah. It's like, I want to be like Napalm 4, Video Dave 3, Open Mike Eagle 3, and 1 tie. It's not something I want to, like, even keep score on, because everybody's doing their own thing on here in, like, a very interesting and unique way. I guess if I were to have a critique, although I don't really want to call it a critique per se, but by virtue of it being a previous Industries project and not an Open Mike Eagle album featuring Video Dave and Riff Napalm or any other combination of that, the album never pulls in one specific direction. It kind of just, like, goes in lockstep throughout, and I think that works really well. But at the same time, I do enjoy all three of these MCs as individuals in the way that I wouldn't want to, like, listen to a Beastie, like an ad rock album.
Word.
I like Beastie Boys, but, like, I wouldn't want to just sit down and listen to ad rock. These are three, like, idiosyncratic and original characters that are kind of, not necessarily pulling in different directions, but at the same time, maybe we don't get fully unleashed Open Mike Eagle or fully unleashed Riff Napalm by virtue of the fact that all three of them have collaborated to make something that is, the braid. It's all three of them.
Yeah. There's also, there's a few rap features on this. Queen Heroine. Because on Spotify it doesn't say who it is. Yes. Right? It doesn't say that there's a feature on that, a rapper feature. And I was like, yo, that sounds like Queen Heroine. Queen Heroine is Breezy Bruin's sister.
Okay. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and she's been dope for longer than some of our listeners have been alive. But Montgomery Ward, that song is there. I wanted to make more notes about this. I wanted to have like clear thoughts about it. But my problem with this album is that it's not so direct where you get like the full message of any single song in particular.
No.
And also it's just a fucking good listen where you don't want to have to necessarily do a hear a term and do a Billy Woods deep dive on fucking Mugabe or you know what I mean, like. And so I'm looking at my notes, and because I made most of these notes when I first listened to the album, all I got here is just like a bunch of different bars that I thought were dope, and a bunch of different notes about the songs, who comes in and how it's amazing, or this thought is nuts, or how Open Mike Eagles fucking sounded, like his rhyme scheme on some of these. So I could go through and do that if you guys want to, but I don't want to.
If you want to,
I got some too. So
I mean, yeah, just like every single song is just so interesting. This the Robux song is probably one of my favorites, and it's just like that beat really speaks to me. But then on Montgomery Ward, you've got Queen Heroine, and her flow is so choppy and crazy, and she's really on point. Like, they didn't just say, hey, you want to rap on a song? They must have given her an idea about like what they're trying to achieve with the record, or she heard them and was just like, okay, I see what they're getting at, let me bomb with this. All of it is very concise, to the point that's why it kind of reminds me like of an Ajay. It doesn't remind me of like, here's the person Open Mike Eagle on this. It kind of feels like, wow, they're doing like a concept album, and there's a deeper conceptuality here than them just being like, hey, we're all homies, we're all dope. But they're also homies and all dope and having such fun that some of the actual personalities obviously going to come aside. They didn't create new characters from this, but they're obviously pulling from like very specific parts of their experiences to make it all work together. Like, man, I heard one of the homies on the Rap Music Plug podcast, he's not completely sold on Video Dave.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, I don't know, it's something about it. And I was like, I can kind of get that, because to me, Video Dave's style is very close to what Open Mike Eagle does. And I'm not saying that they're like trying to do the same things, but the kind of casual, nonchalant, observational, brilliant kind of comedic ideas, they're like, they're like super twins. They're homies. They're very different, but very the same. And I was like, if you look at it like that, then maybe you're going to always feel like, since I'm an Open Mike Eagle fan, here goes, a different version of somebody trying to do him. But man, I was like, listen again. Peep this again. Peep this verse again.
Dave gets
Pay attention to this
off
again.
on this record.
Dave
he really does, yeah.
There's times where I'm like, yo, this fool Dave his writing on this album to me seems a level above what he was doing on the Articulated Textiles.
Yes.
And that was good.
But I also think
some of the
that's
shit on here
intentional.
is just like, bro,
I will defend Video Dave on this front, though, because I think Video Dave was setting out... Articulated Textiles is an album that sets out to do something a little bit different. I keep coming back to Passing Lanes off that record, which is this kind of like very pleasant and nostalgic and wistful, but kind of sad at the same time song with this sung chorus that's been stuck in my head for a year now. And that album very much is it's almost poppy in its presentation, right? Sure. It's an album that kind of has a bunch of songs on it.
Okay,
they're not like tracks, they're not rap tracks. Like it's writerly, it's songwriterly, and I think on this track, on this record, it's like, well, okay, Video Dave is going up against Open Mike Eagle and Still Rift.
And Quelle Chris and Queen Heroine.
Queen Heroine.
Right.
Some of the illest people to like ever walk this earth
to rhyme
as
words
rappers.
Together.
You got to turn the dial up a little bit on the emceeing. You can't do Articulated Textiles sing songs stuff, and I think that's an intentional choice.
I all that to say, I was just emphasizing the point that like, Dave is dope. Dave is dope as fuck. Even on the song, we just heard it in the background where he says, we got the south, east, west, north, put it all together, that it spells sewn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, bro, he's just bombing. That's some horse shit. Don't look me in the mouth. I'm gifted. I need to get my grill fixed. So many, like, every single one of these songs, I'm just like, ugh, that was hard. And then I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah, it's just, Open Mike Eagle's verse on Montgomery Ward's amazing too. indie rappers deserve government subsidies, or else we'll make other discoveries and have to publish the findings reluctantly. Yeah, don't say only paint where it's okay, then appropriate how I disobey. You talking out of both sides. I gotta die a little bit inside the ghost ride. You gotta die a little bit inside the ghost ride. Ride the whip.
Ghost ride the whip.
Man,
Yeah.
fucking White Hen. Learn to move, moonwalk, and backspin. Everything on this album is just so glorious. Photomat. That open mic. Hold on. Let me just hold on.
Yeah, run it.
The flow that he has on Photomat, I was just like, bro, what I like about, hold on, what I like, I guess I'll play it. I'll just jump, right? What I like about Open Mike Eagle is that his style is so suitable as like a pensman, like a really good writer, and he can put together songs like that. But if you ever heard Open Mike Eagle get off on freestyles, it sounds just like his writing.
Yes.
Now it's not always this clear, concise, creative writer stick to a topic all the way through, but this feels like just like he always feels kind of like a Merce, where Merce's written verses sound just like his freestyle verses. That's just how his style works out. As a West Coast, like Bloodian, the kind of, you know, that kind of battle like freestyle be dope at all times culture.
Yep.
Open Mike Eagle is so ill on this shit with the flow that I'm just like, he makes it sound so easy, so eloquent, so just nonchalantly dope. I almost feel like I'm just chilling in a cypher with homies. Like
Yeah, that cypher sensation goes through the whole record as well.
what does he say? Like this verse, like that kind of like triple syllable.
I know exactly what you're talking about, 'cause I got that one written down too. Yeah.
That's like 3-syllable fucking stack that he's doing, right?
Yeah.
3 or 4 syllable stacks at the end.
Yeah.
1 2. They told me it was them and us. His enemies tried to him up. They shut it down like CNN Plus. They said to pray, said to lift him up. They pulled the plug like CNN Plus.
A boy in black versus man in blue. The cop was like him and you. Yeah.
Bro, that fucking his enemies tried to hem him up. Oh my God, bro. The cop was like him, you. Bro, he like, it sounds so effortless, but obviously the fucking timing is just unseen forces collide 2465. Yo, this album is too much, bro. Like there's at any given point on this album, you can zero in on what any of the artists are doing and just be like brilliant.
Yeah.
Just fucking brilliant. This is like a really high tier level of artistry that sounds like basic. It's like on inspection, if you were just like walking through a fucking grocery store and it came on, you'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
this is, what are they rapping? Oh, they're doing a rap. I hear a rap. But when you start to get to the nitty gritty and even try to go like me and project your own different headcanon into what the service and what all this shit really means, it's dense. It's amazing. This album gives me like multiple listens. I just keep on listening to it. I didn't really like zero in on that flow that Mike was doing until maybe like my 5th listen.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this sounds dope. You know, I'm chilling, I'm listening to it, I'm walking around, I'm cleaning the house, I'm fucking chilling, and then like one day I'm just sitting like,
don't burn bridges, leave. That be me talking down my heightened feelings. Not every action comes from a solid read.
I love Video Dave's
Bro.
voice.
bro, I'm such a huge fan of all 3 of these guys. Clearly a top album of the year for me. I should have wrote down more specific notes on like my thoughts, but also it's a Saturday afternoon. We haven't recorded in 2 weeks. We're drinking, and also I made all of these notes like a month ago,
Yes.
and then I'm just trying to like figure out like what I was thinking at the time, and yeah, amazing project. What Deza? I feel like we didn't give you enough chance to. You got lyrics.
I got.
Deza's our resident lyrics guy now. And I like, because Deza ain't even typing it out, because Deza got an old flip phone that in order to type a sentence, you got to type like 999 to get to the T.
Yeah, Dez is in his Luddite phase right now. He's trying to stay away from technology at all costs.
When I researched about Luddites, though, man, I kind of got new respect for them. It's kind of used as like an insult, but man, you know.
Oh, sure.
Oh no, I was using Luddite in a very literal term there.
Oh, fair.
Like I said, we're going to redacted the redacted later.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. But no, I like the lyrics even on this song, like this playing right now, like photo mats, right? I had the same one as you.
Yeah.
Like a bit of it and stuff.
CNN plus. The boy was black and the men
A
in
boy
blue.
in black versus men in blue. Cops was like him, and you.
Yeah,
Like,
bro. Oh my god.
Dominic's with Quelle Chris caught up in the riptide, secondhand apartheid, like, or pliers. Shit got me in a vice grip. My mind shifts to the opening. I exist in the opening. I'm trying to find clips of Nickelodeon. Like that shit's just so effortlessly like
bro,
tight, you know?
super like yeah. Dave is crazy on pliers too. I had a dream I was a ship with no anchor. I had a job, I had cash but no banker. There was a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker. I did the world a favor but nobody said thank you. Bro, it's like they pull from all of. I'm telling you, there's something magic going on here. They're fucking dope. It's so dope. What else you got? White hen? What is that?
That's just the white hen is the one I said before. To understand what I said, put the dictionary down, pick up the catalog instead.
Shout out to Deza for really like bringing the pen back.
Hey.
I even you know what I've been doing with like all right. I've been feeling like rapping more recently, right?
After that cipher?
Just because. What I've been doing recently is just instead of even typing, I just rap into my phone and edit. Yeah. But I've been because I listen. Well, I feel like the thing that got me really wanting to start rhyming again was hearing this album.
Okay.
When this album came out, I was like, I'm listening to it. And I'm like, oh, bro, this reminds me so much of just kicking it with all of my homies who were so incredibly dope at just styling and bombing, depending on the beat or depending on where they wanted to go. I just haven't felt inspired by anybody around. Not to say that they're not good at rapping, but when I heard this, I was like, oh, bro, I forgot I could speak rhythmatically every day of the week, easily.
All right, $100 a month on Patreon. You get the Secret House mixtape. Produced by Jet, bars by Mega.
Trey does is trying to get me to be on the Rap Music Plug podcast mixtape. Telling me to rap, and I'm like,
right.
only live improv right now. We'll think about it later.
All right. Secret House Cyber at $1,000 a month subscribers.
Yeah.
If you do, I'll leak the Mega freestyle.
Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Favorite
The beat on this is like the last two joints, la 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 la. But also on this, it says like, it sounds so intentional, so curious. What is the process? That's what Open Mic is saying.
Yeah.
And then David's like, it's whiskey. You know what I mean? It's like, it's also that too. It's also just fun too. You know what I mean? So
Whiskey. Look at Mikey. He likes it. Another
even that is like, Mikey likes it. That's an old commercial. Like so many of the lines is just from like my childhood. Before Westfield, you guys are not Americans. Before Westfield malls purchased up all the malls and shit, the mall used to be like an epicenter for culture to emerge. Every single time I went to the mall in the 90s, somebody would recognize that I was a b-boy and we'd have to fucking break. You know what I mean? I'd see people there. They recognize I was a hip-hop head.
Shouts out to the worst urban planning on the planet.
The Westfield malls killed it became a weirdly different thing. Of course, malls are like, succumbing to online shopping, and a lot of these places are just
it's
fucking
sad though, there's not a lot of space for people to just,
but I mean, even the mall is like
free spaces.
Everyone lives in their own little fiefdom in the suburbs in the US, and you have to drive half an hour plus to go to a place that doesn't actually have things except maybe a movie theater. Otherwise, it's just more money spending. It's more shopping. I was like, you just go to the mall and hang out.
When I lived in Inglewood, it was the 90s. I did not want to go to the mall. I was scared to go outside in most places outside of the neighborhood. It was a dangerous ordeal. 83rd and Budlong and shit. But in Oceanside, we used to catch the bus to the mall and post up there, and it was free to do for the most part. Like obviously everything is trying to be sold to you, but you could go there and not be harassed for being there unless you started like really getting reckless or some shit. But I miss this album. This album also gave me kind of a little bit of, like I told you, it made me a little bit sad in a lot of ways. It kind of reminded me of like some things in the past. There was kind of like this kind of existential like, oh man, like a lot of the shit that I'm nostalgic for is like fucking trash. You know what I mean? Like like what happened to me?
Well, I'm a European who lives in Tokyo, so I don't have that. I'm gonna go play some pachinko. You guys have a great day. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Have you guys been to of course you guys have been to Shinjuku Station.
Shinjuku, what's that?
You know how they fucking changed all the walls into marketing shit now?
Yeah.
I feel so fucking assaulted every time I go in there.
Man, it's fucking
Like
ads
seriously,
everywhere, man.
every single wall in that place is become a fucking a LCD screen trying to sell you something. And sometimes they'll do something dope, like have like a fucking Windows 98 screensaver of like some fish moving or some shit. But the rest of the time they're like buy.
It's like an ad for an anime.
I'm just like,
or
God
like
damn,
a-
I just fucking I hate it. I want to
place
start
is-
writing graffiti again just to ruin things.
I mean, this place is just packed to the brim with consumerism, you know?
Yeah, I mean everything's inescapable late stage capitalism.
It's just-
Postmodernism is the logic of late stage capitalism.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, we done.
Yo.
Are we done? Did
Yeah,
we say favorites?
favorites, favorites.
Yeah, let's do favorites. Hold
Desi,
on.
you go first. I'll kill you right now.
Fucking sick tired of this shit, Des.
Photomat, Dominic's white hen braids, pliers.
All right, I got Showbiz. Wait, hold on. I got Roebuck, Montgomery Ward, KB. No, I don't know. Photomat. No, all right. It's easier for me to say which song that I don't like all that much.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, I'm having a hard time with that. All right, I love the whole album. This is one of my albums of the year. It's not a secret, unless like 6 more albums come out that are better, like that I like more than this year. It's definitely
Guaranteed
going to
top
be
10, yeah.
guaranteed.
We're already halfway through the year.
Yeah.
Showbiz.
I mean, but we got the new KDI,
Montgomery
shit that's fired,
Ward.
the new Alaska.
I don't know, Zairi. How do you say that second to last track?
I think that was the old jewelry store.
How do you say it? Zaya?
Zayres. I don't know. I don't know.
KB. Shouts out to my home, go KB. London represent. Brrr. Shouts out to our Patreons. They're on screen right now.
Yeah, wait,
love you guys.
let's shout out our homie. Do we shout them out in the beginning or no?
I don't remember. This is a long video.
Yeah,
We've
they do
been talking
Patreon?
for 40 minutes.
Yeah,
Caltrops Press, Rap Music Plug
Yeah,
Podcast,
No Name Book Club.
No Name Book Club, Extraordinary Rap Podcast.
You did.
Keep them coming. The guys
Rap
are
Music
really
Plug,
cool.
yeah.
RMPP, Sonic
OG
Cloth.
March. Yeah. A lot of people.
Flight Fidelity Podcast.
Support independent underground,
Call out
avant-garde,
culture.
experimental radical art. Yeah, be a part of community, not a timeline.
Commune with us.
Ooh, that's a bar.
A lot of people are fucking fully colonized by their phones, bro. They don't have anything outside of them.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's one of the reasons I suggest that you guys join the Discord, join other Discords, build and talk with people.
Yeah, stay away from social media. Join this
Colonized
social
by their
media
phones.
service.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So just let me introduce myself.
See you guys.
Yeah.
My name is David. Pronounced with the video, VHS, Betamax, analog, digital. We the best grade. Get physical. Throw